We are live. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Hack Studios. RT Bear here. Wow, it seems like it's been too long since I've done one of these things. So, how is everyone? I hope everyone's doing good. It's fantastic today. Spent a little bit of time out in the yard in the morning, just hung out. Beautiful, beautiful day. So yeah, we're going to get into a little bit of I guess it's controversy. I don't think it's like non-controversy as far as I'm concerned, but yeah, I don't know. Well, it's not really non-controversy. People really care about this stuff. So there's Neil Gaiman shenanigans, and then there's some of the heavy metal shenanigans, and I'm going to have Von Klaus in here, and he kind of broke this whole heavy metal thing. So I know that Clownfish TV gave him credit for posting on Twitter the new is it Tarna? I don't really know how to say her name. The awesome barbarian chick that rides the pterodactyl in heavy metal. I think she's the most iconic character that has come out of that magazine. And so they changed her costume and stuff. So Von's going to talk a little bit about that. Actually, now that I think about it, I should probably invite him. Where is the tab? Yes, I am inviting the man, the myth right now. Get in here. Oh, we got people. Sign of life. We got, wow, Peter Samedi, first in. First in. You get the award. The no prize award. We got Stephen Rockwood. Ooh, cool name, Rockwood. Anything that has rock in it, I think is cool. I think just having the last name Rock is awesome. I had a friend growing up, his last name was Rock, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I don't know why, I just think it's cool. We have Shadowhawk, Hail Artie Bear. We got Past Master Dan, ahoy, Art, watching you, and Fragaboom. Is Fragaboom live right now? That guy's always live. Aloha, artiste. Yes, I borrow ideas, only the good ones. What's up? Joe Bernardo, how are you? You said it right, Tarna. It's got like 2 A's in it, doesn't it? Like Tarna. Yo, we got Oliver from 656 Comics. Jason. Yeah, Jason. I think I'm going to contact you. People want Inko. So the guy that's up in the corner here, they want sculptures of Inko. So I got to talk to you. Maybe we could do a sculpture or something. I also was thinking about doing Inko as an award. So if we ever do the Comicsgate convention, we could have an award ceremony. We could have the CG awards, and the winners can get an Inko award. So I was thinking we could make up little statues, and then we could hand them out as awards. I think that would be cool. It's the Azrak. That's her bird, right, or whatever. Hey, Art. Oh, cool. Von Klaus, Monster MD is great. Really hope you continue the story. I guess we'll ask him. What's up, bro? Oh, yeah. I got to send a link to Graham as well. Maybe he'll get in here before the Vonster. See what Graham has to say about all this nonsense, this non-controversy. Here we go. I think I still have it saved. Man, Facebook takes forever to download. I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, drop the link. The link has been dropped. All right, so let's get this party crazy. All my invites are out now. So, yeah, Graham, I just sent a link in the Professionals green room. So, Spirits Car. You're streaming against Frega and Mitch Broadweiser. Hope you can step up your game. That is a challenge and a half. Well, I got some heavy hitters, hopefully, to come in here. Inko Sculpts, yes, indeed. It's a pretty simple design. I don't think it'll be too difficult. Although I don't know. Inko the Barbarian, indeed. Past Master Dan, nice. Let's see. Wait. Through a stream of a puppy sleeping would still be more exciting than a man. Oh, I thought you were going to say me. Mitch, a good guy. He does a lot of drawing streams. I like watching him draw. Yes. Oh, cool. We got confirmation. We just I have to see what the price is going to be on it. Oh, there he is. Let me see what Arch Geek has to say. Hey, Art. I think I'm all caught up. Got Lord Crackhead. I think I'm all caught up here. So let's get the Vonster in here. The Vonster Monster.
What up?
Man,
how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Is that how we're gonna do this now?
Yeah. Yo, weird stuff. Yeah, I'm gotta get my mic over here. How you doing, man?
Good. We've been trying to get this thing together for a while, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep, no doubt. It's about time.
What? That's a good sign, though. I found in this business is it means you're busy and you have stuff to do, and that's always good. Yeah, every
day.
All the good ones are already booked, right?
Yeah. Truth.
Yeah. So I saw you guys yesterday with Sweetcast with Clint, and holy shit, man, that dude did well yesterday.
Killing it. Just killing it with Downcast 3. So it's been great. Yeah, that was fun.
Is he posted on 15K right now? And that's not even, that's like 24 hours, right?
Yep. 24 hours, 15K. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Comics Gate, God bless Comics Gate, right?
Oh, blessed. Yeah. Dang right.
I mean, this is crazy shit, man. I'm so happy to be part of this group of knuckleheads. This is great.
That's definitely one word for us. Yeah. Crazy artists doing crazy things. Yeah.
So God, this is so funny. So I like Neon and Geeky Sparkles, and I'm listening to one of their live streams. And I know this was a few days ago or whatever, but they're like, we got this, and Von Klaus, thanks to Von Klaus for, I guess you tagged him or sent, the heavy metal link to him about the costume change. And it wasn't even so much the costume change, it was how the publishing company decided to handle the fan, and so I was wondering if you could maybe give us some setup on that. And I think Graham Nolan and maybe some of the other bros, professionals, we're going to come in here and maybe throw their two cents in as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Heavy Metal Magazine, beloved, kind of seen as a staple of, free expression and a fandom that has, nurtured them since the late 70s, early 80s. They told the fans that they don't need fans. They don't need to respect them, and they don't need fans that want, characters that look sexy all the time or whatever. They pretty much came out attacking the fans for throwing some criticism their way for some costume changes for for one of their big characters. So it's, it was kind of a shocking thing where, it happened, and this happens all the time, sadly, nowadays. But when Heavy Metal did it, it shocked a lot of people. I guess they weren't. It was not on your bingo card, I guess you could say.
Yeah, because this magazine is always they were always the risk takers. You know what I mean? They were always the ones that were flipping the middle finger to the world, basically. I mean, this was, like you said, freedom of expression. I mean, these were the rebels in the publishing world.
Right.
It's funny because I read some articles and they were talking about like it's sexist, whatever. There's full on nudity, like men, like remember Din, like that dude's dork was out like every panel,
flopping.
You know what I mean?
Man. Yeah.
It was just all European, and those guys aren't all hung up like sexually as like the Western, crowd is. So I think like as a kid, when this book was coming out and stuff, I was like, wow, this is great shit, and just the art and everything else. Like you weren't getting this anywhere, anywhere in the industry. And then Marvel started publishing like the Epic line, and so they were kind of following in the heavy metal footsteps, and they did a pretty good job, But I really miss that stuff, that type of entertainment. And so they went from, I guess this is the Tarna character, to, oh wait, that's not the tab. This is the tab here, and so they covered her up, right?
Yeah, and I mean, in the scheme of things, it's not a big deal because they weren't going to cover up for like the whole series. She was wearing armor for like a story. If it's a special cool armor that gives her power or whatever, fine. But when fans, spoke out against it, they were told, we don't want you as fans. We don't need to respect you. You're not the fans for us. And that was like, who's running that account? You know what I mean? It made everyone wonder, like, what the hell is going on over at Heavy Metal?
Well, we got Graham. Hey, welcome, Graham.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, we got the top of your beautiful head there for a while.
I'm drawing as we speak. Vaughn, I love your Monster MD.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
Appreciate
I really,
it.
really enjoyed that book.
Awesome. Great to hear. Whew.
Yeah. So get out and buy that, guys. It's still available, right?
Sure is. Shipping out immediately.
It's excellent. Good stuff.
And Alien Alamo is still in demand as well. So go back that. And while you're at it, and you're just like into spending some money on great premium comic books, pick yourself up a Chrono Mechanics.
Look what you did there.
Always selling. Yeah, so did you hear Vaughn set up the whole heavy metal thing? I'm sure you've already been kind of introduced to it.
Well, I hadn't even heard about it until I saw that you posted. But I know the character. I know the Mobius character from Heavy Metal years ago. I mean, I used to go to the Midnight Theater to see Heavy Metal, the animated film, with fellow Cubert school students, like every Saturday night. We'd get drunk, we'd go to see that movie, and we'd go back and drink some more.
My favorite trivia
of
that movie is John Candy did the voiceover for that Den character. And I didn't know it at the time. And I don't know if John Candy was even a big name at the time. But then you find out later and you go, oh, my gosh, it's John Candy. And you can't not hear it now. You're like, John Candy doing like a kid's voice.
Den, that was the Bernie Wrightson character, right?
It was the Corbin character.
The Corbin, right. Corbin, yeah.
Yeah, the guy with the dork hanging out and all the stippling.
Dude, I love that. And what is it? Harold Ramis was one of the stoner aliens in it too.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Like when they were pouring all the coke all over the spaceship and snorting it up or whatever.
Yeah, one of my favorite is like I think that has the Cheap Trick song in it, right? The Reach Out and Take It. Like that soundtrack.
Love that.
Great, man. That's one of my favorite Cheap Trick songs. Yeah.
I love the Cigar Heavy Metal song.
Yeah.
And that gets your blood going.
I remember
an
interview with Sammy Hagar, and Sammy Hagar was like, they came to me and they wanted me to write a song about heavy metal. And he said, so I wrote a song about heavy metal, the music, not the magazine. So if you read the lyrics, it's like, call it heavy metal noise.
Still works for me.
Yeah.
Hey, he killed it. I love that song.
An astronaut in a convertible, like moving through the atmosphere to that song, and I'm good, man.
I would love to hear like new lyrics, like turn the pages.
Taylor
images.
Oh man, great magazine. That was one of those magazines that like the older cool kids would show me, as a kid, and I'd be like, "Oh my god, I need more of this."
Yeah, and it was a magazine format, so it was just the format alone was designed for an older audience, because it wasn't a comic book sized magazine. So I don't know about you, Graham, but when I was coming up the ranks, man, I so wanted to do a heavy metal story. Like I had a character, I had sent them samples and everything because they were also drawing in an unconventional way. So I was studying illustration at the time. So I was kind of dabbling in comics, but not as much as, illustration. So it's one of the things that started getting me back into comics because, this was like illustration. This wasn't like, just superhero comics, which is great. But I mean, it was like these guys were artists, artists doing this stuff. And so I still remember, I sent this, it was called Nocturnal Night. It was the Night by Night. And
I had a very European feel to it, magazine,
I sent the script in and I got rejected, so. But that would have been cool. And then years later, I guess it was a couple years ago, they asked me to work for them. And then I happened to have the nerve to ask them how much. And they told me, and I was like, no, thank you.
The times have changed.
Yeah. I mean,
they didn't pay Mobius those rates.
Well, those guys were doing it just for the expression. I don't think they got paid shit in the day either.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like
I don't know. I
young Grant Morrison
great.
is a velveteen suit.
I think maybe later they did, Graham. Once there was like a name built, I'm sure that they readjusted their contracts. But I think at the beginning, those guys were just doing it just to do it.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, because no one knew what that magazine was going to do. It was brand new.
It was kind of just a punk rock. Like, hey, we're making this for boys was kind of what they were about, right? Like when they first made it, they're like, this is for younger kids, it's for boys. They had like a plastic, like what was it, a UFO toy, like on the covers of the first books. Do you remember that?
No.
They had like a toy on the cut, like built into the cover of the first heavy metal books, like a little frisbee thing.
It came off the book, or it was part of the cover?
I think you could take it off to play with it. It was part of it, though.
So you could beam your younger brother with it, just
yeah.
What year was the first issue that it came out?
Oh,
it'd be early, like mid 70s, maybe
70s. Yeah, I just can't remember what year.
Yeah, I think 74, 75, 76, somewhere around there.
Wait a minute, I think I had a Wikipedia. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, my computer's being a wang doodle. Look at this. There we go.
We've experienced your internet in Texas, Art, on the professionals.
Yeah, it's been happening quite a bit. So it's nice when you pay top dollar for a service and then you don't quite get it. Yeah.
It's just this is kind of a symptom of something that's been happening, though, right? You've got these internet attacks by whoever's running social media for these things, where the fans are colliding with them, and it seems like there's a refrain of, we don't need fans like you, when it's like, well, aren't they the ones paying your bill? Like, aren't they the ones giving you this job in the first place? It's been insane. It's happened from everyone from Marvel and DC. 1977.
So if you guys haven't been following the story, what happened is like how Vaughn set it up, is that it's not what they did. They changed the costume of the Tarna character and they made it kind of less sexy, but I think they did it as like one of these woke type thing. I don't even really know why they do it, but it's obviously they want to start controversy. They want to start trouble. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it, and then you wouldn't double down in the way that they do. So of course, it's not quite as sexy. It's not as iconic. It's not the character. Like if you change Superman's character, like his costume or Batman's costume, people are going to go, why? Especially if it's a bad design, which this is very generic. It's a very generic redesign of a costume. This character was very iconic. She's up there with Red Sonja with the bikini armor and stuff like that. So this character is fairly iconic. So you decide to change the costume, and then people actually speak out against it because they freaking love the character. That's why they scream against it, is because they love the damn character. They're not casually just going, you know what, you changed this design.
Yeah.
They're going, yeah, we love this character. And so then what did they do, Vaughn? What did Heavy Metal? What was their response?
We don't want fans like you. We don't need you. Please go like something else. Essentially.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
And let's face it, who are the fans of this character? You know, the same as like Red Sonja. You know, I guarantee you the minuscule amount of female fans for this character could be counted on one hand. You know, I mean, this is guy material. It's for boys, teenagers, and they love that stuff. And for what, you know, not right or wrong, but they love it. They love these sexy girls in the sci-fi settings. And then they take that away and make her this warrior thing. It's like, well, shit, you might as well just do a dude, you know. Who cares? You know?
Well, there's definitely a trend in covering up characters who are known for, you know, bearing their skin and being badass in fantasy all throughout comics. And I think fans are catching on more and more, and that's why this might have happened. The new Witchblade that they did, she is completely covered from head to toe. She doesn't have any skin showing when the Witchblade comes out, and that just seems so antithetical to what was successful in the first place and what we know, you know, how the Witchblade to work. It was all thrown out. There's this real lack of reverence and understanding of what made these characters successes, and instead it's this weird puritanical, like, cover them up, and that makes them stronger and makes us take them more seriously. No, it doesn't. It alienates fans, and then you end up getting into these conflicts.
It's more than that. It's an attack on what young guys like. You know,
That's right.
it's you're naturally drawn to that kind of stuff, but now all of a sudden you're a misogynist. You're a scumbag because you want to see these scantily clad female characters, and that's what they're really attacking here. You know.
And the thing is, I remember there was a writer friend of mine. She writes novels, and so she's also a teacher in California. So you kind of know where she's coming from,
right? And
so, you know, a little liberal, you know, on the liberal side. And so she's talking to me. She's like, you know, like, look at all the sexism in like comic books and stuff like that. Look at the women. Like, they're always like these idealized versions, and they get the big busts and the perfect bodies and this stuff. And I said, sexism? Have you looked at any of these guys? Like, they're nude. I mean, it's skin tight outfits. These guys are the heightened, you know, version of a male species of a human being, right? And so the thing is, it's equal. Like, superhero comics is pretty much equal. The women have skin tight outfits. The guys have skin tight outfits. And if you ever want to yell at me, I don't care, feminists, whoever, I'll fucking debate you. Like, there's a character named Killraven. Holy shit balls. That guy has next to no clothes at all. There's a character named Tarzan. He's got a fucking loincloth on. Like, don't give me this shit. Like, you know, like, it goes both ways, man. There's scantily clad, iconic, you know, heroes, and you know, and female heroes as well. It's not all one-sided. It just kind of is the way I guess the vocabulary, the vernacular of these action adventures works, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely the idea that you cover up women and that it makes us take them more seriously within this genre, to me, shows that they don't understand the elements of the genre that we're dealing with here. Scantily clad, idealized bodies is part of what draws people in. It's part of what people like about it. And they come in with the attitude of everything about that hurts women somehow. We don't know how, but we're gonna try to implement the clothed up versions of characters anyway, and pretend that we're just really into realism while saying that we really like fantasy stuff and comics at the same time, which always boggles my mind.
Well, it's weird. Like, as a kid, I do remember, like, I'd watch, I'd read Red Sonja, right? I'd go, oh my gosh, like, she's not covered up. She doesn't have armor all over the place. And then I was like, well, Conan doesn't either. And then I was thinking, they're so badass, they don't freaking need it.
Yeah.
And that's how they like to fight.
The other thing is, you know, like guys like Frank Thorne and John Buscema or Barry Windsor Smith, whoever were drawing those types of books, drew sexy characters, but never sexualized characters.
Mm.
You know, you'll see today, you know, a lot of lazy artists will do these things, but then the angles that they choose are like the upshot of the ass or the legs spread twat shot. You know,
Yep.
I mean, that's sexualizing. That's different than a bikini clad warrior, you know. And I think that's where you have to draw the line, is that you can't lump those two together.
Yeah. And there are characters that are sexualized. You know, they're usually the femme fatale type characters and stuff like that.
Sure.
But you know, they're still usually not done that way. You know, like you said, the twat shots and stuff like that. You know, it's still usually like, you know, seductive or whatever, but usually above board, but very sexy. You know, more in the seduction kind of realm versus, you know, like pornography realm.
Yeah, I mean, there are guys. There's some artists that made whole careers out of like using porn photos as their reference photos. You know, and you know, we know who they are. You know.
Hey, Graham, why don't you throw a couple under the bus right now?
No, that's for the nighttime show when I got some bourbon in me. You know?
Yeah. And that nighttime show is tomorrow night, and I do believe it's going to be on Aaron Lepresti's channel, and that's The Professionals, and that is Spilling the Ink, and that's a show I do with my bro Graham Nolan. We do it with Andy Smith, Billy Tucci, what is it? Dan Frega, and who else? I'm missing somebody else. Am I? Is that everybody?
No, Aaron.
Aaron Lepresti, yeah. So there's 6 of us, and we just like hanging out, drinking. Apparently, one episode I drank so much I literally passed out. I actually got to say goodnight before I passed out, but I said goodnight, clicked off, and then I just fell onto the floor. I've never been that drunk before because, like, usually you can feel it coming on, right? And I think I was just having such a good time being in the moment that I didn't realize that I had pretty much killed that whole bottle of vodka. And then I remember I clicked that little orange X, leave the studio, and then I just went.
And tonight I've got Ethan Van Sciver on the Storytellers, so that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, awesome. That's going to be good. So, anyways, you guys should tweet this out right now. I guess we got a little competition. We got Dan Frega, and we had Mitch Brotweiser. So, you guys in the chat brought that to my attention early on. So, let's kick their butts right now because you got Graham. And you got Von Klaus here, so this is good. This is good YouTubing right here.
Damn right.
And we're working while we're talking. What are those other guys doing? They're probably just talking, you know, not being able to fulfill their comics, you know. But look at us, we're working. We're getting that stuff out for you.
Damn right.
Yeah, definitely. Indeed you do. So do you remember any of the tweets, Klaus, of like the way that heavy metal supposedly defended themselves?
Oh man, I could grab them for you.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And also I wanted to get into a little bit of the Neil Gaiman thing because Neil Gaiman, that one actually, I don't know why, but that one really got under my skin because I was like,
me too.
What a freaking hypocrite. But I want to try to stay a little focused before I get into that. Oh, the Frogger stream ended. So, yeah. So we got Camel Moon. We got some of Comicsgate's own. So welcome. And I thought I saw Kelsey Shannon. Yeah, Kelsey.
Oh, sweet.
Hey, Kelsey.
Love that dude.
Oh, gosh. Kelsey actually could step into Frank Thorne's shoes. Someone has to keep the dream alive. Wow, that would be cool, seeing you do a Red Sonja.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hey, Old Dirty Fatty, to answer your question there, the Storytellers is on tonight at 8 o'clock on my channel.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So did you find those, Klaus?
Let's see. So it looks like I threw out the ones from my desktop, but I have them here on my Twitter, my twatters. Fun times. Oh man, I was really I got the whole death casting thing really threw me, and I even did some videos on it. And then let's see, heavy metal. Yeah, right here. Okay, let's pull these.
Is that when he
up.
threw Comicsgate under the bus? Is that what we're talking about?
No, we'll get into the Neil Gaiman stuff.
Will.
Yeah,
Oh.
Vaughn's trying to find some of the heavy metal ways that they defend themselves. I thought it too, like these guys cannot say the moral high ground, because wasn't there, like, didn't they wrangle the publishing company away from what's his name, the Ninja Turtles guy?
Yeah,
Kevin Eastman.
Eastman, yeah. Like, he didn't even know he was ousted.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
This was the costume change. And then we have the changes suck, respect your fans. Basically, heavy metal went heavy mental all day on fans. These are only a few examples of what people told me was a
fans like that. We are good. Thank you. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And sounds like you had trouble reading and comprehending there, champ. Let's try this. We grew up. Sorry, you will get there one day.
Oh my Lord! Who is their social media rep? Who's writing this stuff?
No idea.
The thing is, it's like, you'll grow up. This is like adolescent, entertainment anyways. I mean, most of us didn't fucking grow up. So thanks for stating the obvious, Einstein. You insult your viewership, and then you insult like all the fan base. Most people read the stuff when they were kids, loved it, and then when they became older, they still read it and enjoyed it. So what are you talking about growing up? Like,
yeah, you're just not mature enough for our naked ladies and outer space stories. Okay.
We're all kind of in a state of arrested development, but I don't get it. I remember somebody said like this guy, we were in a nightclub, right? And he thought he was going to state the obvious. He goes, Art. He goes, you're very kid-like. He goes, that comic strip Calvin and Hobbes. You're like that guy, that little kid. And I go, I draw comic books for a living. What the fuck do you expect from me?
Good point.
So what does this one says? This is this is the grow up. Yeah.
That there were a lot more attacks I saw, like, here and there, but those are the ones that stood out to me and just kind of made me raise an eyebrow. Fans are, it's weird when they scold the fans for liking what made them popular in the first place. It's just so weird.
Yeah, and the only reason the fans are outraged that they think they're smarter than everybody else in the room, but they're really not, because the reason people are upset about this is because they truly love it. And these people are your fans, the people that are, saying and speaking out. Those are your true fans. Anybody that's defending, like, cover Tarna up and do these things, those are people that aren't going to buy your book. These are not your fans.
They're not going to buy the book anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
That now that new redesign holds no appeal to anybody. I mean, adolescent boys aren't going to buy that. Certainly women aren't going to buy it. And they weren't going to buy the other one anyway. So who were you left with? The adolescent boys. And now they're not going to buy it.
Well, like Hatchback Studios, I've run for over 25 years, probably 30 years now. And wait a minute. Oh my gosh, longer than that. But anyway, there have been, plenty of women that have worked at the studio. And you know what? They dig that shit. They dig Slave Leia. They dig, like Red Sonja. They dig that stuff. So you're also, like, you're trying to defend a group of females that aren't even your clientele. They're not even buying your book. Like, the women that are buying your book actually dig that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call those people who advocate, who pretend to be fans, but they advocate for what's, like, destroys what people loved about it in the first place. I call them anti-fans.
Yeah. Well, they are. Yeah, it's like you obviously don't like it because whenever you have a caveat or you have, a asterisk, like, Red Sonja would be great, but that costume is problematic. That's not a fan.
That's not a fan.
Batman's great, but those tights, that's got to go. You know what I mean? Like
and they went.
Yeah.
And they went. Batman doesn't wear tights anymore. He wears body armor.
Yeah.
A lot of armored up Batmans out there now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the thing is, when Batman's tighty whities went, I was like, okay, I was kind of down with it because the body armor kind of made sense. But then the Superman thing, that's where I had a little bit of a problem, because that's where it really stood out for me, because those things are bright red. They don't really blend with the outfit. And so when you saw just like blue all the way down with his half belt around, I was like, why does he even have a belt? He doesn't have pants on. Like, this doesn't.
And when Jim Lee first redesigned it, he had like armor type things on, like these different like clunky looking shoulder things. And I was like, this is Superman. The guy's invulnerable. What does he need armor for? He could go out there, like Tarzan in a loincloth and not care,
Right.
It didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well, I thought Superman should have kept the trunks. This is, like my inconsistency argument. Like Batman, body armor, fine, it makes sense. But Superman, trunks, because he's also represents like the old strong man. Like there is, it does harken back to like, the circus strongman who would wear, like the trunks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, I always thought it worked for me in a weird way. It always worked with Superman in a way that it may not, with Batman,
Yeah, because Batman's outfit is functional. Superman's is symbolic.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, I dug this. I don't know where you guys, I know Vaughn's a little younger, but when John Byrne did his Man of Steel and did his run on Superman, one of the things, the interesting things he said is why his outfit is skin tight is because he radiates an aura out of him. So the suit, if it was baggy or clunky, it would just rip off of him. Like if bullets hit, the suit would go as well. Mm-hmm. So if it's skin tight, then it actually will be impervious as well as his body. So he radiates, I guess just, fractions of an inch, outside of his body, so he could wear a skin tight outfit, so he wouldn't be nude, fighting crime.
Yeah, I sort of like the original idea that the material came from Krypton. So it was invulnerable, because what John Byrne did was he made Superman's suit invulnerable, but he always had this tattered cape.
The cape
was always getting torn. It's such a trope. It was just, I just assumed, let's throw caution to the wind. Say Superman's invulnerable, and his costume is too, because it's from Krypton. That's all we need to know.
It's weird because
it works for me.
These things, like as far as a writer and a creative person, they always get themselves into a bind, right? Because they fix one problem, but then they create another problem. You see Hollywood do this all the time with the superhero stuff, right? So the thing is, like, John Byrne was like, well, how did Martha Kent make the suit? If it's invulnerable, how did she put a needle through it and sew the suit, right? So then you go, okay, if it's skin tight, blah, 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 then it's impervious, blah, blah, blah. I guess, anybody could make it, it could be out of any material. So then you answer that question, but then like you said, Graham, you got the cape.
Yeah.
And then the cape becomes problematic. So you just exchange one problem for another. That's why they call it suspending disbelief when you read these things. And I think a certain amount of it is warranted. Either you buy into it or you don't. It's pretty much that simple.
Let's face it, the Batmobile. Did you ever try and drive a car in New York City? The Batmobile is a completely unfunctional thing in a major city like Gotham. You wouldn't be able to get from Wayne Manor across the bridge in time to save anybody. But and I even suggested to Denny one time, why doesn't he have like a hovercraft, and then he can come up behind traffic jams and just go up and over them and all that kind of shit. And Denny said, that's the car is a part of the iconography of Batman, and it's It's a suspension of disbelief. You just assume that, it's like in a movie. Anytime anybody's got to be anywhere, no matter how big a city it is, they can pull up right up front to that main court building and park right there.
Right.
Meanwhile, you and I are driving around the block for 6 hours trying to find a freaking parking space.
Yeah.
But in movies and TV shows, man, they pull right on up and out they go.
It's always like, I know you guys get this way. You start going, well, this isn't real. But then you go, well, it's convenient. And then you start you really start scrutinizing. It's like, well, how bad is it really? Because there is a certain level when you write and you create these stories that there is convenience, there's plot convenience, and it kind of has to be there for everything to work. Otherwise, It would take forever to set some of the stuff up. So you have to just go, okay, they just pull up in front of the court building, like you said. Yeah, and they can get there lickety split. And yes, I did say lickety split. So you guys want to switch over to the Neil Gaiman?
I just got some Neil Gaiman stuff ready for you, actually. The Sandman casting. I'm sharing some pics here with you. This was the casting announcement recently.
Are these the ones that all had their pronouns in the
Yep.
images?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing that bothered me, the pronouns in the announcement.
Yeah, this was a little pretentious, to say the least. And a lot of fans spoke out and said, oh, like over half the characters have been changed completely from their genders and races swapped. People were pissed. And that's kind of what set this off. And then, of course, when people saw Death and they remember what an iconic character she was, people got pissed.
That's Death right there on the right?
Yep. Well, that's the actor that's going to play her. We don't know what they're going to do in terms of hair and makeup, if she's going to actually be pale ass white, as you would assume Death would be.
Yeah, are they going to white face her?
Or would that be considered whitewashing, and then they'd get attacked for that?
Yeah.
This was the real life person Death was based off of. An 80s goth chick who had the whole,
Cinnamon Hadley.
That's Cinnamon.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually Neil Gaiman's traced back to because she passed away, right? So Correct. He actually was tagged in a tweet, and he actually mentioned, and gave the whole rundown that she was the inspiration for the character Death.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Right. I mean, she was the inspirat. She was the muse behind this Death. I mean, that was the whole character design from the start. And an artist was friendly with her and used her as the model. And wow. And Neil Gaiman was cool with it. And she went on to become this iconic character. I thought showing off some tattoos that people have gotten of her over the years would be kind of appropriate too, to kind of hit home. Like, this is a beloved character. This is an iconic character that people resonated with and have loved for years, and this is what the comic books look like. They're gothed out as it gets.
Well, I have a example of actually who, when Neil Gaiman created the character, referenced, and it wasn't that Hadley. It was this Nico, and it was this cover. And this was the person. So this person doesn't look African American or black. She looks very white.
And there's nothing wrong with it. But in this era, we have this intense need to change the TV adaptations of these characters in terms of race. We're putting race above reverence for, what worked in the first place. So,
well, the thing is, this was just to back up a little bit. So Neil Gaiman when people heard the announcement, he doubled down and defended the actress that's going to play Death. Is this Netflix? Who's putting this out?
Yep, it's Netflix.
Yeah. So the Netflix adaptation, Neil is standing by it, and he said when he came up with the character Death, he didn't have a visual for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's lying because I don't have it here, but I found an actual interview where he said that actress or that musician that Nico,
Mm-hmm.
that was who was in the description when they sent it to what is the artist's name? Denneridge? Is it Mike Dennenberg? Drenenberg? Is that how you say his name?
Dringenberg.
Dringenberg. Yeah.
Mike Dringenberg. He was the first artist?
Yeah. So he created the visual. Also, I'm just thinking this is a great way to F him over on royalties, because I don't know I don't know how that works. Like, if they use his version, does he get paid royalties? If they change it, does he not? Like, I started thinking about, like, did Neil Gaiman just F over, his buddy Mike, as far as the visuals? Do you know anything about that?
It's the same character. He'll get the royalties the same way that, Bane in Dark Knight Rises didn't look anything like our Bane,
Okay.
He's got a equity contract with DC about it. He'll get paid.
Okay. So the Ankh, everything, like that whole visual is all Mike. And so, you have this guy that came up with this, once again, iconic character that has been around for 30 plus years or however long this character has been. People love the character. Like you showed, all the tattoos, you go to conventions, there's always somebody cosplaying, as Death. And also the thing is, I was thinking about this with Death, is this character ties into something deeper than just comic book lore. This is a goth chick, you know what I mean? Like a comic book goth chick. So she's actually tying into a whole like fashion and music movement. So these people, like, there were people that bought Sandman that didn't buy comic books, like conventional, like normal comic books. So this book was bringing fans over from like music scene, from the goth scene, from the college scene, like all kinds of different people were buying this book in the day. And so I think the reason it was happening is because this Death was actually crossing over, like platforms. She was crossing over into different genres and different types of entertainment. Mm-hmm. And so that fan base was coming over. And to say that there was no expectation that people are going to have with this character, that she's like this pale goth chick, like, how could you do that? As soon as you made that decision, Neil and Netflix, you knew you were going to piss off your fan base. You knew it. Like, how did you not know?
And then you call them out for it, and you're saying, hey, I want this character to be more true to what I enjoyed in the first place, and you get called a racist for it.
Right. Because once again, like heavy metal, you love the character. You love the character so much that you defend that character, and you want to see that character on the big screen. You don't want to see something else that isn't the character. I'm sorry, this isn't even racism. This has nothing to do with any of those things. It's not even about it's not about race swapping at all. Not really. It's just about, that's not the character. And Neil Gaiman can hide behind like, well, I didn't have color in mind when I designed the character or came up with the character.
Yeah.
But you did. In the definition that you sent to Mike, it said that Nico, that woman that I showed, like, that was in your description. That's a white woman. So you can't backpedal and say you didn't have that in mind. You did,
And it's not like race was the most important thing about her character, and yet it's, she became a goth icon, and it's, to me, that transcends all that stuff. But we're living in an era where race has become more important to certain people, especially in our entertainment business, than reverence for these characters or what made them popular in the first place. It all just gets chucked out. I'm always blown away by that. How, like, you look at these tattoos and you're like, man, a lot of people have liked this character for a long time. They're carving it into their skin. Okay. And, and just the way they just so nonchalantly throw that out and then even double down and fight with fans over it is astounding to me, because to me, this obsession with race that a lot of the more left-leaning people have right now is a passing thing that we need to just kind of get over. It's doing more. I think it's doing more harm than good. And this death is just one of many examples. But the death one is so interesting to me because it's so stark. Like, it's such a blatant, like, hey, you fans like this? Well, we're throwing that out.
Well, she's not just a white girl. Death is not just a white girl. She's like white. Like
she's death. Like, she's death. She represents death. You know,
there's no pigment in that skin. So I like Igor says ID politics is the new religion. It shields all criticism, used as a sword and a shield for corporations to plunder culture. Don't like me, heretic. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right on the nose right there. Those are words of iron right there. Very, very true. And here's the other reality. If these corporations really gave a shit about this kind of stuff, they'd do the heavy lifting. The problem is they're taking the easy road. They're taking characters that are beloved and known by people and changing them, whether it be their race, their gender, whatever. But they're not willing to do the heavy lifting and create an interesting character on their own with their own merit that can survive and thrive, and putting in those social messages or whatever it is, and standing behind them. They're unwilling to do that.
Now, when you talk to them about it, they go, there's no time, and it takes too long. It takes too long, and it's too hard. We need to just swap people now. Like, they make it sound like it's, it's an imperative.
Saving the world, right? It's do or die. Like, one of my favorite things about Hollywood is the way, because everything's about selling. Like when you work with somebody creatively, it's about selling your ideas, and then there's multiple ideas, and then you debate, and then whatever's the strongest idea, sustains. If you're both fair and you go into it. And I was just thinking, like Hollywood, like, they create arguments that you can't argue with. Like, you hear this all the time. It's like, if we couldn't get Tom Cruise for the movie, we didn't have a movie. You know what I mean? Like, these are really absolute. Really? You didn't have a movie? Have you heard how many people that read for Star Wars? Kurt Russell as as a Han Solo. Like, don't tell me like that wouldn't have been freaking pretty damn entertaining. I know Harrison Ford was a badass, and he definitely embodied that character. But I would have liked to see a version with Kurt Russell as Han.
Me too. I'd watch that.
You know what I mean? And then you hear just as many arguments the other way. It's like, well, we wanted to get this actor, but then we couldn't, and we went with this other actor, and it worked out better. You know what I mean?
Like Bruce Willis in Die Hard, right? They wanted some tough guy actors before he showed up. Right. They had Burt Reynolds almost took the role, stuff like that. But then you have Bruce Willis come in. People are literally laughing at that casting choice at first.
Yeah. And then how many people turned down Dirty Harry? I mean, John Wayne, Frank Sinatra. I can't remember who there was a bunch of
Dirty Frank. It would have been called Dirty Frank. Frank Sinatra took the role.
Yeah. Can you imagine, anybody else in that role of Harry Callahan other than
seriously?
Yeah. that would have been hilarious. But you know what? That's how they frame things up. So so they're really good at making these arguments. Like, they become absolutes. Like,
right.
If we couldn't get this dude, then we didn't have a movie. If we couldn't get this, guy, or if we couldn't do X, Y, Z, then we didn't have a movie. It's like, no, you still would have had a movie. It would have been a different movie, but you would have had a movie. So then you just cross over into stuff like this. It's like, oh, well, this version of Sandman has a black woman as Death. Deal with it. This is the only way that we're going to be able to make this movie is to do this. They convince themselves of these ideas, and that's the only way they can do it. And then they just have to keep defending it. The problem is they don't really have a good argument. Like right. In a debate class, these things wouldn't hold up very well, because we've already pointed out way more reasons not to swap than there is to swap. And that becomes really bizarre. Oh, hey, Daniel.
How are you, Vonster? Graham, my man.
Good to see you,
buddy.
I just figured, you were outnumbered by the haired ones, so
Hey,
Bring it
that's why you're a professional, brother.
That's right, man. No, I've been listening. I finished my daily rev up, had some lunch, was listening during lunch, and I had brought up something in my stream last night that I think is applicable. First off, I want you to know I have pronouns. My pronouns are it and that. Okay. So when you say I just got off the phone with Frega, it was awesome, you're referring to me, not the conversation. Let's get it clear. But the other thing, this happened a couple days ago. We were watching cartoons with a 2-year-old, and Pepe Le Pew episode came on.
Oh.
And my wife said, "Hey, wasn't he canceled?" And I said, "Yeah, he was." I said, but the timing on it was crazy. They canceled Pepe Le Pew right as they were doing their Space Jam bonanza to tell you Space Jam was coming out. Mm-hmm. So my suspicion on a lot of this stuff, outside of the words of iron that were said earlier, which is the trifecta. I'm of a different race than white. I'm of a different gender than male or female. My sexual preference is not of the biblical sense or whatever. These are all like armors and protections. You can be a perfect person if you're disabled from another country, a female, and are a they them and are gay. Like you could be you are the super person of the undefendable. You could say whatever you want, and you say anything. There's that's out there, and that's legit and real. But I also think that some of these corporations are using these things as hotspots because they know that because they've seen it. Somebody does something outrageous like heavy metal. How long has it been since people have talked about heavy metal legitimately?
Right.
Yeah. But now we are. Huh? Isn't that funny? They're doing that shit, so they're being talked about. And they can hide behind that armor, that SJW virtue signal armor, but they're being talked about. So algorithmically on the internet, with search engine optimization and things like that, they're being elevated to the top search results, which is reality for people.
Right, but very short term.
It doesn't matter. They get
clicks, but they don't get dollars. You know what I mean? Because they're pissing off the people that are actually going to spend the money. That's the thing. Well, you're completely right, Dan. I saw this whole YouTube, I forget who it was talking about just publishing in general and these type of things. Yeah. And they don't understand it. Like newspapers, all what used to be print medium, they don't quite understand it. So they're just grasping at straws. And they think that social media, and they think like a click equals a sell, but it doesn't.
There may be some smart there may be some smart folks in there that actually realize that. And I'll just tell you, one of the things that I noticed while working at Mattel, which is, a Fortune 500 company, it's one of the corporate giants. A lot of the people that are in the higher up positions, they get their bonuses and they get their backpats and they get their promotions with statistical data. They can say, look, I made this decision on this thing, or I was the executive producer on this thing that got this result. And here's the stats. It shows that it went up and I was responsible for that. And here's your bonus.
Yeah, it's a cheap way of market research. So they're throwing it out on social media.
For some people, it's not about money. It's about getting a leg up,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I had that theory about DC Comics and moving to Hollywood. Like, it wasn't about making good comics. It was about getting the leg up. You know what I mean? It was almost like, to me, when I heard that DC was moving from New York to Burbank, I was sad. I wasn't happy because I knew that DC was going to start going after the Hollywood money, and I knew instinctively that they were going to lose because I know Hollywood people. You know Hollywood people too, Dan.
I do.
It's a tough game, man. It's all for show.
It's smoke and mirrors. It's vapor, and
right.
Real relationships and something that is graspable is a rare thing.
Right. And you know, that's why they had the big Burbank office. That's why they put all that money into it, because they knew there had to be posturing. They knew if Warner Brothers was going to take them seriously, they had to be a playa, right? They had to be a playa. And they got their asses kicked. You know what I mean? They played a game, you know, they tried to posture, but Hollywood's better at it, you know, and I think, but you know, then they turn to social media. Then they start getting desperate and start trying to do crazy stuff to try to get attention to justify their existence to Warner Brothers. So all the stuff starts becoming like what we're talking about, where you do things just for clickbait. You do things for attention.
You do things because here's the thing, man. Virtue signaling is currency these days. I was talking to my wife about this thing. You know, growing up, even now, I don't hate anybody unless I actually don't hate anybody. I dislike assholes. I don't care what race, creed, color, whatever. If you're a fucking asshole, you're an asshole. Right. I've never, you know, there's that stupid thing to say, oh man, I'm colorblind. They hate hearing people say that. But the truth of the matter is I deal with human beings, right? That's it. I don't care. I don't care. You like to suck a dick? Good on you, man. Go ahead. There's a lot of them out there for you. Go have it.
Right.
But your opinion isn't all of a sudden better because of it.
Right.
You know? The other thing that I find absolutely perplexing, you know, you guys were talking about Superman's cape and all this stuff earlier, and you know, we have to suspend disbelief. I believe that the world, the sheeple of the world, the nightly news watching folk of the world, they are suspending disbelief just as much as comic book readers are, and even more so. So, for example, when you see Kitty. When you see these stickers and people you know, their Facebook profile picture, their covers saying "Stop Asian Hate," right?
Oh yeah.
I go, yeah, of course. Like, Asian hate's stupid, but first off, don't start it. That's one. Number two, do you think that your Stop Asian Hate thing is actually going to do anything other than tell the world that you're not about it? Right. Because that's what it is. It's a sign of saying, oh, look at me, I hate hate. Most people do hate hate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the people that are hateful and are bigots aren't going to see your fucking sign and be like, you know, this is a turning point for me. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen. So all it is one of those I voted stickers.
Yeah.
And a selfie.
I got my COVID vaccination.
Yeah. Let me take a picture of it. This is currency in this world.
I'm so much better than you.
Right. You know, this is when I knew that the world wasn't racist, is when O.J. Simpson played the race card in the trial. I never thought about O.J. Simpson as being black. Like, no. I have all the trading cards, all his sports cards.
I wanted those boots that he used to sell in comics, man.
Yeah, I
remember those.
You know, he just transcended. He was just an exception. He was a super human being, right? And then even Michael Jackson. I never saw Michael Jackson or the Jackson 5 as being black. I wanted to be able to play like the Jacksons, like the.
I want to dance like Michael, man.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I'm talking about like the Jackson 5 stuff, you know, and impressive. Yeah.
Well, same thing with Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is top of the food as far as human beings. Right. Because my number one, of course, is God. But as far as human beings reaching amazing potential, even though we lost him at 32 years old, Bruce Lee, human being. Do I go, of Chinese descent, you know, likes women, referred to as he. No, that's Michael Jackson. Sorry. He's referred to. His pronouns are he.
But yeah, like when we were kids, we played Bruce Lee, man. We wanted to be Bruce Lee, you know, like what kid didn't that grew up in that time.
I didn't. I wanted to be John Wayne.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, Whitey.
Of course you do.
I got to read this. Thank you so much, Luke, for the $5. Thoughts from everyone on the trend of Silicon Valley buying up Hollywood studios. Do you guys have any thoughts about, I mean, I guess they're the only ones that have money right now, so I guess it makes sense, that they would be putting money into Hollywood.
You guys, I just started I was telling John Malin about this on a stream last night. I just started reading this manga called Fire Punch. And the setup was great, but what was interesting was that there was this complete line in the sand between the rich and the poor. And the poor, they were going through famine, and the rich were basically absorbing and stealing a bunch of the poor and the children to turn them into slaves to do their bidding. And I'm reading it, like it's fiction, because it is. But then I remember, like, there was a whole thing back in the day called Exodus in the Bible, where the pharaohs had slaves, and there were the haves and have-nots and the indentured, and that I believe that the world is on track for that sort of situation again. What made me think of bringing this up is when you said the whole Silicon Valley thing. They're the ones that have money. They do, because we're holding that money in our hands. We're using that money right now to broadcast ourselves out to these wonderful people. That's all based on Silicon Valley money. Where the creativity comes from, the chug along, except for us awesome comic gators and other independent folks, are pardon. I mean, it is what it is. Look the definition up. It's not a racial thing. A slave is someone that does the work for someone else and gets a penance of their labors. The other person gets all the benefit. That is rampant out there. And this Silicon Valley buying Hollywood, it's a bold move. But if you look at the allegory of the cave and the fire, right? People are watching shadows. There are people that are fanning the flames. They're the people casting the shadows. Hollywood casts the shadows, and then people watch the shadows and are distracted by things. The people with the money are buying the distractions. They're taking control of the distractions and the device in which the distraction is sucked up with.
And also, Hollywood's weak right now. Most entertainment is weak right now. They're not in a good place negotiation wise. Mm-hmm. So you can come in if you're strong, financially. You can come in and you can prey on the weak, which is strangely is kind of entertainment at this point in time. Printed entertainment as well as TV and film. I mean, when the pandemic hit, like you said, Dan, the only thing that really kind of sustained was social media, was electronics, computers, phones, things like that. So they did well through the whole pandemic. I bet you they were probably stock went up, if anything, because I heard statistically speaking, people went to YouTube. Like there were, more YouTubers, during the pandemic than ever before.
You get stars too. Streaming platforms made out like bandits. Yeah. And it showed Hollywood that that's an avenue that they have to start to explore, because they'd start releasing films directly on streaming things the same time it went into the theaters, and they're finding they're making money doing it that way.
Yeah, because they're going to have to. I mean, we used to kid 10 years ago that everything was going to come through the computer screen. The TV was going to go, away. I mean, it'll probably still exist in some form. I mean, radio still exists.
Hey, horses and carriages still exist too.
Yeah. Yeah. So in some way, some form, it will still exist, but it won't be the dominant source of entertainment. I do think the internet can do everything. The computer can do everything that all those mediums can do. Radio, comic books, printed medium, film, TV, shorts.
At the end of the day, people just want their gold, right? And the old way was to get a pan and a shovel and a pickaxe and go away at it, and then came some dynamite and some bulldozers, and they're gold mining in a different way these days. But people,
Dan, I have to ask you. I've known you for a long time. When did you become so freaking wise?
It's mushrooms and marijuana.
I think it's having kids, man. When you have kids, your brain becomes like, this is important.
Oh yeah. You definitely reprioritize.
Yeah, you prioritize.
The old days, it was my balls and my stomach. Really, like that was it. It's like I want to fuck that. I want to eat that. I want to fuck that. I want to eat that. How can I fuck that? Get a faster car. How can I eat that? Make more money. Yeah, but
that's
now
me.
It's totally different now.
So MGM or Amazon was bought out MGM, right?
I don't know.
Didn't Amazon bought out, like they're going to own a lot of, like they're going to own all the Bond movies. Amazon is going to own a lot of stuff. And so when it comes to Silicon Valley buying up things, it's kind of a double-edged thing in my opinion, because you've got a lot of history of Silicon Valley considering themselves super progressive, and everything they make and do is going to be from a progressive standpoint. But at the same time, they're also the ones who want to have their fingers on the pulse, and Hollywood seems to have its finger off. Could Amazon shift gears and go, well, this isn't what people want, let's give them more what they want? Or will Amazon just keep cramming it down our throats as woke garbage?
That's actually a great question, Vaughn. The one thing that Amazon has over a lot of these other people is statistical metrics based on people's buying patterns, because it's very easy. Right. It's very easy to be a semi-passive person when it comes to watching shit. But when you take your wallet out and you shell out your hard-earned dough, that is a decision. That is a less passive decision. So somebody like Amazon, who's already got their streaming service with Amazon Prime Video, they're already set up for it. And as far as like how they make decisions, God, I hope they go after what people want.
Well, I think that people's hopes when Comcast came in with Warner Brothers in DC, that Comcast bottom line was going to be about money and get rid of the wokeisms that were basically bankrupting DC Comics and such. But we really haven't seen that. So I guess it's still early on because DC's fate is still up in the air. But I thought that you would have maybe, what people were hoping anyways, is that there would have been some kind of paradigm shift. Like there would be they would get rid of some of the more woke aspects and start listening to the fan base and start trying to make some money again. But it doesn't seem
I have a tinfoil hat theory on this whole thing. Follow me on this. It's called population control. Okay.
I know where you're going on that.
And the world has so many assets and so many resources that can support a population of life in a certain way. Now, if homosexuality is encouraged, again, I have no opinion on it. I don't give a shit what you do with your sex life, right?
With your dick in your ass?
Yeah, or whatever, unless you're doing if you're doing the lickety splits, I don't care, but what I'm saying is when it's before, because I asked my wife, I said, I don't understand Pride Month. Like, I'm proud that I suck a dick, or I'm proud I eat pussy,
Yeah.
Like I never understood.
That's going to be screen captured.
Yeah, I don't care. I have four beautiful children. Proof's in the pudding. I said I don't understand it, and she said, "Well, there's this oppression for forever and ever. Like you couldn't talk about it if you were gay. It was like a shameful thing, and you had to hide it, and blah blah blah. And now they're able to come out and the rainbow, Skittles, it has no rainbow, all that shit. All right, copy that. I get it." But now I feel like there's this encouragement, and I'll tell you why. My daughter, she's 10. She loves young adult graphic novels. She reads them. She reads, the Smile and Drama Club, and she's made her way up. And she recently found a book called Heartstoppers, and it's a scholastic book. They sell it to young kids. And it's about gay romance. It's like a young gay romance, right? And they're selling this to kids. And then there's one girl on girl gay romance, and it's not salacious in any sort of way, but it's very much a super attempt at normalization of this concept. My tinfoil hat theory is this normalization will make this next generation and the generation after that they're normalizing this sort of thing for make a sort of, I don't need children. I just need a relationship. And this one is safe. Well, these relationships don't have fruit. You need a man and a woman to have that fruit. Sure, adopt a kid. You know, you have a lot of gay couples adopting kids.
And that started with feminism. That I don't need a man. I don't need to have children. And if I decide I want children, I'll adopt children. That started long before this.
Yeah, yeah, but this is they're all frogs in the water that's getting turned up, Graham. Like it's going to boil at a certain point.
The thing about a lot of these arguments about the racial tensions in America, you know, I hit upon it earlier with OJ and stuff like that. Like, and you brought up Bruce Lee. Like, I never saw that. So all that raising with like we're all the same. We were taught not to see color. It was freaking working. It was working.
Yeah. There's no problem with it.
And as far as homosexuality, I'll go back to the 80s. I'll go back to MTV. Holy shit, that was the gayest decade ever. Like
it was. You had Culture Club, you had Bowie, you had Prince. Like,
you
know.
Neon colors. There were straight guys wearing pink shirts.
Culture Club was gay?
Boy George was gay.
What the hell?
I think he was something other. Like he had his own category. What creeped me out more than Boy George was that Dead or Alive guy.
Oh hell yeah!
That guy
spinning you right round and shit.
Who just slowly turned into a creepier looking woman as his life went on. Yeah, that guy was
because he had beautiful hair, but he was still kind of masculine. Like Boy George was not masculine at all. But that guy that what was the band called that round
Dead or Alive? Dead or Alive.
Yeah, thanks. You know, that guy seemed like he had like cool hair. He kind of was feminine the way he moved, but he seemed like he could still kick your ass.
Yeah. Remember the cover of Poison's first album? My brother had it, and my stepdads are like, "Who are those chicks?"
Yeah,
but that's serious.
That's why Aerosmith wrote "Dude Look Lady" because they saw these hot blondes in a bar in LA, and it turned around and it was Vince Neil from Motley Crue, and they were like, dude looks like a lady, and that's you get the song. They were really hot looking. They all looked like hot chicks back then. Nobody cared. It got them women in droves, and everybody just had fun. I mean, that's kind of what it was about.
Androgyny was played upon in music even before a hair metal, and the chicks dug it. I think there is a part. Like just to talk about like the way women are wired, because guys usually don't like this. And if anybody's been in any kind of relationship for a while with a female, you always get dragged into something like Tu Wong Fu or like The Birdcage or some kind of movie.
Hedwig's Angry Inch.
And women love guys that dress up like women. They just dig it. Like, I don't know why, but I've done the polling, with all the women in my life, and they all say, it's funny. Polling, yes. And they're all like, yeah, there's something about it. I go, what is it? And they can't say it. I go, it's because the guy's humiliating himself in front of you and you like it. You think it's funny.
You think that's what it is?
I don't know. I'm just. It's a half-assed attempt at humor.
Yeah, I would think it was a confidence.
It's a confidence, really.
No, dude. If you're like, because one Halloween, I gotta find these. One Halloween, this is like 2016 or so. I cross-dressed, but like badly. Like I did my own makeup, and I wore Daisy Duke shorts, and I had my wife sew a fake set of balls out of pantyhose and cotton, and I had them hang out of the Daisy Dukes. And dude, everybody wanted their picture taken with me. They thought it was the best. And you had you have to have a certain degree of like, I don't give a fuck to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that might be what is applicable in those situations, is like that guy is so confident in his manhood that he would go that far.
That's a good point.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, especially when you're going out and you can actually hit certain notes and you can play on guitar. It helps, when you have some talent behind it.
Mm-hmm. I read a theory about how since the birth control pill became more prevalent and women's hormones were getting, it's like their body's being tricked into thinking it's pregnant. And so their hormones are at a certain level. It started making women attracted to more soft and feminine things because they become more attracted to like baby things because their bodies thinks it's pregnant. And so men that were more feminine started appearing as models. You go into H&M or Target or, and then, and so if that was one explanation I saw for the love of the more feminine wafy boy. When I lived in Chicago in 2007, that was the boy to be in the big city. You had to wear the tightest stuff and be, have a little wave body and try to be almost as feminine as you were masculine. I just wasn't having it. I was just
the old metrosexual.
Exactly. Yeah. So people blame it on birth control pills.
That, but I'm sensing a new show. And it would be called the tinfoil hat, and we would just start speculating on type of crazy ass shit.
I've got mine ready.
Because I'm like Dan, man. Like I think you guys are like you spend so many hours in your own head you're drawing, and these topics come to your head, and you're like, why is this way? And then you come up with your crazy ass theories of why life is.
We try to make sense of shit. That's all you can really do. And when you're alone in a like my room is practically a closet, where I draw, and you got to fill your head with something,
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
We could just call it deep thoughts. You like the what was it, Jack Handy?
Jack Handy. Yeah.
Deep thought.
Yeah. Why do they call it taking a shit when you're actually not taking anything? You're leaving
it. I love that.
All right, man. Well, I think we should wrap this up. This was a great stream. I'm glad that Dan just popped in and Graham as well. Klaus and I, we were trying to get this thing going for a couple days now, and just being busy artists that we are, it's always a little tough. So I'm glad this thing turned into a fun time here with everybody.
It's like a mini professionals, which everybody should be following. Tomorrow we're on. I don't know who's hosting. Aaron's hosting.
Yeah.
Does he have his topic set?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He said movie trivia, I think.
I'm going to suck at that.
I'm going to be horrible at it too, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be a little bit more definitive than that, but that's what I thought I remember seeing.
All right.
If it's movie trivia connected to comic books,
right?
If it's movie trivia connected to some sort of cash prize, I'll have my Google ready.
Oh, did I get the super? I did get the super chat, right? Yeah. So I got that. Thank you again for that. So tomorrow night, Aaron Lepresti's channel. We're gonna do professionals. At some point, I am probably gonna rant about Billy Tucci. Billy Tucci is the wrench in the professionals.
Yeah, we've had more fill-ins for him than dentists do in teeth.
That's crazy.
I'll do movie trivia night if you guys want, man.
Yeah, come on, too, man.
Well, you're invited. You're invited.
Art, can I do a little plug real quick? Can I do a little plug?
Yeah, we should all do one.
Okay,
yeah.
I've got this month a thing called Frega June. It sounds like Frega Boom, but it's Frega June. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I did that because I did not want to have to compete with the professionals. Okay. Nice. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern on my channel, Frega Boom. I'll be drawing people's requests. And if I pick your request, you get that original sent to you free of charge. Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Frega Boom. And also tune in the mornings. Get your notification bell swiped up. I do this thing called the Daily Rev, where you get to watch me do warm-up drawings and shoot the shit.
Hey, Dan, I want to come on your drawing stream, but can I just work on my stuff, kind of like Graham's doing right now, and just not show it? So
100%.
I'll just contribute, but I won't be kind of
100%. It's the more people talking, the better. John Malin, the times he and I had face-offs, he was very clever because he didn't do any talking. He had his head down and he was drawing the whole time while competing with me, who was hosting. So I had to do a lot of talking. So I'm talking and drawing. So he's competing against, one-legged man in a sack.
Yeah.
Well, we used to do that drawing stream on Mike S. Miller's channel all the time.
Who?
Who?
I'm just kidding.
And John excelled. John learned
He's
how
really
to
good.
play everybody. Yeah. And so I used to go in there and just like, okay, I have to focus to get the best drawing, in this 2-hour time.
No, I would love to have you on Frega June, man. Of course.
Yeah, I think it'll be a blast, and it'll give me an excuse to be social and still draw, because I've been thinking like doing the live streams, but if it's just me drawing and I can't show the drawing, because I'm working on Black and White Volume 2 right now, it'd be a little boring. But if I go on your show, like you said, you get a bunch of people doing some heavy lifting, then you can entertain people. Yeah.
True. And people, speaking of Black and White Volume 2, isn't there a sign-up list for that?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
The world, make it a better place.
Indeed, there is. Yes. Let's see. Did that work? No, it did not. Oh, there it goes. Man, I got crazy.
That's us.
So can you see this? Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. So this is Black and White Volume 2, Man versus Machine. In a world where law and order are often blurred to gray, justice can only be black and white. So if you guys sign up right now, you will be eligible for a free trading card with a backing. And we are going to have a bunch of early bird specials and very limited tiers. So we're going, those things are going to sell out really, really quickly. So we're going to have we're going to let you into the shop before it opens to the general public. So you guys will have maybe an hour to ransack the store, get your cart, your shopping cart out there and just start like grabbing stuff. So that's kind of the idea behind that. And you will have the, those alerts early. And like I said, the trading card, and this is the trading card art right here. I think this came out really good. And this is Rene Stefani doing the color work, and he just killed it, man. He killed it. So so come by, check it out. The link is in the description. And also Chrono Mechanics is still in demand. That link is in the description as well. And I think Monster still has Monster MD.
He's still running, buddy. We're over 100K, and books ship out imm40. Monster MD has done really well, man. I'm really proud of it. The team did amazing on it. Killer 44-page book, and I've never been happier.
The book looks great, and congratulations on 100K, over 100K. And and it's great to be able to announce that you can ship them out, ASAP. Chrono is the same way. So if you bought a book today, you'll get that in the mail, within days. So, Graham, what do you have?
I've got Alien Alamo.
Baka.
If you like westerns, you like sci-fi, you're going to like this story. It's a story with a lot of heart about a father and son who have to save the world and their relationship at the same time. So, and I also got a brand new featured perk that I just added the other day because I realized that you couldn't get all three of these books together. So you can get the original Monster Island that was from 1998, the Chinook from last year, and Alien Alamo, which will be coming out in December.
This is the Compass Comics universe too, yeah?
It is, yeah, and all these things are connected. All these characters and stories are all interconnected in the same universe.
Is Monster Island hard to find now? I know you crowdfunded that some time ago.
Well, that one is impossible to find. It's from 1998. But last year, Ominous Press published hardcover versions of Monster Island. This is the original Compass Comics version from 1998.
Yeah, so get on that. That looks killer. And like Graham said, he's got a whole universe that he's going to be revealing soon. He's going to be dropping that on you guys, and I cannot wait for that. Do you have an ETA on that, Graham, or are you just going to keep kind of putting out one and dones? And
an ETA on what? On
like connecting. Like I assume that at some point you're going to start connecting the dots with all these different IPs.
Well, they're already connecting. You'll find out at the end of Alien Alamo, there's a connection to the Chinook.
I'm
oh,
talking
wow.
like not just those. I'm talking about like an epic,
yes,
like
yeah.
monster.
The next one after Alien Alamo is the Ghost of Metacumba Key, and then the fourth one will be Misty and Meathead. So
I love it.
yeah, so
love it.
I've got them going and funneling in towards a larger universe story.
So it's going to be a monster mash. It got on with a smash. Yeah. All right, man. That sounds great. Looking forward to that. So thanks again to everybody in the chat. You guys are the best. CG freaking rocks. This is the best time I've had in comics in a long damn time. So
I couldn't agree more.
Ever.
It's
for
all
me.
because
Ever
of
for
all
me.
you guys. Ever for Dan.
Oh, and tonight I'll have Ethan on, gang, on the Storytellers. So don't forget to tune in for that at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
so thanks to all the people in the chat, and thanks to you guys, and
Thanks,
thanks to the super chats, you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you, gang.